Bing! Okay, so infrared taking on the neocons. And I just thought about it. I had recorded previous take, but anyway, um, he debated, I think, Wyatt Claypool, um, which is one of the, which is part of, the Kevin Castley crew, the Superpower Broadcasting crew on YouTube. And I thought that I didn't actually hear a lot of it, but it's funny to say the least. How this comes about. I think it's funny to see, but it's also good. It's great to see somebody else just saying, no, these guys are cringe, and somebody taking them on because, unironically, this is probably one of the worst times in U.S. history coming about. And I know people are going to, I know Bastiat and all these other folks would disagree, but, the U.S. is in decline. There's no way around it. I'll just tell you right now. Sorry about that. There's no way around it. We see that we can't even get, $15 an hour minimum wage. We see states like Texas, break down because of power outages. We see, the riots that occurred over this summer. We saw the storming of the Capitol and all that. But even, like I say, I don't know what else you need to know that shows that, yeah, this is a pretty awful time in the United States. And while I have my own views, I think it's not the time and place to continue to rant about something that may or may not happen. So I'm going to leave that there. But I think it's good to see these things come about. I really don't believe that, things are going to get better. They're going to continue to get harder. They're going to create people that are much more willing to do things that are not polite and maybe going towards the illegal side of things. They're going to go to that side of things. They're not going to wait for the government to help. You're seeing folks that were dedicated, Americanists, the real violent, the real rabid, America folks are going to eventually just say, that that radicalism for the system can change and become something else. But these neocons in general, I don't think really care about that. I don't think they care about capitalism. They don't care about the United States. They only care about capitalism. They don't none of those guys, as far as I know, on any particular level, get any benefit from this system. They don't. They don't get any of it. And to me, that's the saddest thing. It's like, if you're gonna shill for a system, at least get some benefit from it, It's like, hell, at least Rachel Maddow gets $7 million a year to spew her bullshit, At least people like Rush Limbaugh admitted back in the 1990s, like, yeah, I'm doing it for the money. At least he was honest about it. Whereas people like Kevin Castley, they truly believe these things. But then they have to make their excuses and say, well, John Bolton isn't a neocon. He's very beige, but he's not a neocon. And, he'll give all his explanations and all that sort of business and say, there are no neocons that exist in the outside world. And it's just like, really? I just, we see that it's going to get bad. I know I keep repeating myself, but we see it's going to get bad. We just don't know how bad it's going to be. And that's what everybody's really waiting for. Is how nasty is it going to get? How nasty is it going to get? That's what, we're all just trying to figure it out. And it's going to be different wherever you are, Like I say, with Texas, the continued heat waves that keep on coming up, Like I say, heat wave is going to come up through probably, August, maybe September, hell, even October, all the way there, And then we're going to see these heavy snows and everything else. Just, these huge, long droughts followed by, long periods of flooding. That's typical of climate change, right? Like I say, maybe I'm just spitballing and just kind of, well, hell, I know I'm being schizo, but where are we going to go from here? Where are we going to go? I ask that question, I think, every other time, but I think that we can see that this system and the way it is, while it's working perfectly normal, I've finally given up and said, yeah, the system isn't broken, it's working, it's not a bug, it's a feature. I've finally just admitted it. And it's true, yeah. The system works for those in power. They don't care about you. They give you just enough crumbs to keep you satisfied, and that you're full enough so that you can get into work. And they will give you excuses, they will give you lip service and say, good job. Why don't you, here's a watch. They don't even do that anymore. Working 50 years at a place. Here's your here's your watch and your retirement. It's not the same way anymore. So, yeah, we're we're just seeing this going down measure, life expectancy going down. You can find that out easily. I know people say, well, that's only because of COVID. What's going to happen when COVID is stabilized? I doubt it's going to change it that much. But, yeah, I mean, it's, let's go back to the beginning. Infrared, a Lebanese man taking on the neocons sounds great, Like I say, they are a fairly small community, but I think that these are folks that just, they need to be woken up, man. They need to be woken up and told, you can't do this, bro. You can't just think somehow that, oh, well, well, we're against BLM, but we support these few things. No, man, don't try to play your little silly games and everything. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I kind of went around in circles and I don't know. I still hold to the fact, though, I do want to make sure of this, that I'm always going to be an American. I don't say that as some, I'm always going to love America. No. I'm going to say that I'm a product of the American system. That's something I can't try to fool anybody with, Whether they look at my paunch, like they look at my chunky stomach, or they look at, how I act about things. I'm just a symptom of Americanism, And you can feel as you want to about various things, but this is just how it is, man. I just don't see anything positive coming about it. All you can do is find little moments, and maybe you will have to find some escapism. Okay. But realize that eventually it's going to come to your doorstep in some form or way. I don't say that it's a threat. I just say it is a reality. You can try to, I mean, hell, I've thought about it too. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to some monastery somewhere that doesn't exist, and I'm gonna live out the rest of my life somewhere. No, I know that's not gonna happen. Same thing as I'm not gonna be some gun runner that travels the nation. That's probably not gonna, or whatever is left of the United States. Like I'm some Mad Max or like it's Dogs of War or something. No, I don't think that's true either. It's gonna be somewhere in between. I don't know, but it's gonna come for us. It is. How it's going to occur, it's anybody's guess. People can make comparisons to the Roman Empire, to Yugoslavia, to whichever. A lot of comparisons to be made, and they are continuing to make them. But it's never going to be 100% figured out. Oh, but yeah, that's all I have to say. Oh man, I just wish my excuse was that it was pouring down rain. I couldn't really sleep amongst that. And that's why I listened to a bit of infrared stream where he was dabbing on the neocons. But, it is what it is. I was waiting to see what was going to happen with that. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got to say. It is what it is. And yeah, good for infrared. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that long, ranty nonsense. See you later, and goodbye.